People of the internet, Ronda Rousey is on the podcast circuit to promote her new graphic novel. And on that little tour, Ronda Rousey exposes Joe Rogan for being a bad UFC TV talker and also for being a bad friend. And today, we are going to learn why she feels that way. And our first stop is with Mr. Bert Kreischer, who recently had Ronda on, and Bert Kreischer and Ronda talk about Ronda having a fight with Bert. And then she says this.
Is there a price point that would get you back in the octagon?
I mean, I have everything I want. There's nothing that would really change my life.
Let's do price points on this.
Okay, $1 billion.
$150 million.
$1 billion.
$350 million.
Billion.
You're just fighting Bert Kreischer.
All right. I will beat the shit out of you in your backyard for this house.
How long do I get to train? I was just talking to Joe on the walk over. How long for me to train to beat Ronda? That'll never happen.
He wouldn't know. He's not an expert. He's a fan with an audience.
That's interesting. Is that how you feel about you?
Never fought.
Uh-oh.
He fought Taekwondo, right?
Ooh.
That's not fighting.
Taekwondo.
Well, I'm going to exit this conversation. No,
I don't want you to get any bad DMs. We need to get.
Ooh, Bert got a little scared there, didn't he? Ronda just laid it down and said, Joe don't know fighting like Bo knows. That is what she said. Called his little point fighting martial art trash. And I agree. I think karate, kung fu, taekwondo, you can learn cool kicks, but as a get in a fight kind of thing, absolute garbage. And I'm a judo practitioner like Ronda, so maybe I'm biased, but also them jiu-jitsu boys need to learn from judo because judo is king. I'm sorry. That's why your sport comes from judo, is based in judo, because judo is king. Anyways, enough on the judo is king, and back to Ronda. And the sentiment she shares here that Joe doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about is no surprise, because before this last UFC, there was an actual movement to replace Joe Rogan with, I believe it's Laura Sanko as commentator for the UFC. People want Joe gone. There's tons of videos mocking Joe and how he absolutely says nothing during the UFC, but how great the men's bodies look. No surprise there. I guess, if you were like Joe and had this fetish for men, I guess men all glistened up right in front of you fighting would just be too much. Too much for Joe to handle, brother. Joe likes the abs, the nice pectoral muscles, and let's not even get talking about those tight little shorts. They are driving Joe wild. He can't get past the shorts, boys. He just can't get past the shorts. But anyways, people want Joe Rogan out of the UFC, and it's been growing and growing, and maybe one day we can just get that little short-loving man out of there. Now, moving on, Ronda Rousey was on the Chris Cumo, I don't know what he does, news, maybe just his podcast, but he was on his show. And Chris Cuomo asked this question that led to some kind of very revealing things that we've already known, that we've been trying to say to people. But it might break some Joe Rogan's fans' hearts out there that Joe Rogan didn't treat Ronda right. And if you don't treat Ronda Rousey right, you're probably not a good person.
What was it like for you to have people doing all this guessing about whether it was fear or you'd lost your heart or that the game had caught up to you and there were just different skill sets around you that you couldn't compete with anymore, and you wanted to say this? That this is not what it is. My kid could hit me in the head and it might destabilize me. It has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with my head. Why?
Yeah.
What was it like to not say that?
It was really like disappointing just to see how happily everybody had turned on me, and how, people like Joe Rogan, who were
Oh,
like crying in
there
the
it is.
ring out of the honor of being able to call my fights, had like, people I considered friends in the media so quickly, turned on me. And I also am kind of grateful for it in a way, because it like forced me to separate my like outside people, other people's perception of me from my own perception of myself, which I had realized had really become intertwined. When you have that kind of like outpouring of like love and support from people, it's like you're being love bombed by the world, and you're like, how do I keep this going? How do I keep this going? And it was pushing me into a lifestyle that I felt like it was to impress everybody else. Like I was pandering to everybody, and I was doing things that I felt like other people would think was cool, but that I didn't really enjoy. Like I do not enjoy being paparazzi famous. Like I hate it. I do not want to be like that level of fame, or I can't have a normal life. And I was pursuing that kind of lifestyle because I felt like that's what I was supposed to do. And being put through that, it really forced me to like see that, oh, like this isn't real love. This is fake. They don't actually know me. They don't actually love me. They don't actually hate me. This is a reflection of themselves and what they're going through and what I represent to them. And so it really forced me to take a step back. And one of the reasons why, we got into farming and agriculture, and, me and my husband at the same time were looking for things that were, real validation instead of that outside validation, and being able to focus all of our time on our family and not like trying to become as rich and famous as possible forever. Because what does that do for myself? What does that do for my kids? Like, I only want to do what I really, really enjoy, instead of like, trying to impress everybody all the time. But yeah, it was kind of like really alienating and isolating at the time, because I just felt like nobody understood me. But no one's ever going to understand you that doesn't know you. So that's the
Isn't that crazy? When it no longer suited little Rogie, creepy Joe Rogan, not good to Ronda Rousey. When it didn't suit creepy Joe Rogan tossed her and left her behind. Wasn't good to Ronda Rousey. She has some deep anger towards that little guy. And it's the things we've been saying behind the scenes, when it isn't doctored, when it isn't on his podcast, when he can't control the narrative. The real Rogan is a bitter little man that's desperate for control, desperate for validation, and incredibly little guy insecure. He always has to be out there to prove himself. He always has to be right, and he has to control the narrative. But lately, now that Joe Rogan is down in the ratings, lost over half his audience, and he lost a lot of his power and persuasion, people are turning on him because they now have a chance. Because before, he used to shut him up. He used to stop it. He had a company going out there stopping videos, all of it. Joe Rogan is a mad little man that pretends to be a good person, full of thoughtful ideas, creativity, and just curiosity about the world and for the good of the people, not for his agenda and propaganda that pours money into his wallets. Now, that wasn't all Ronda had to say, because then she uses a naughty little word to describe what Rogan really is.
As you're talking about what the reality was of what changed for you in your fight game, have you heard from any of your old friends? Have they, whether it's, a name like Rogan or just people who you thought were your friends that many people
Rogan.
don't know? Have people reached out to you and been like, I didn't know that. I wish I had known that. I would have never said that, because nobody is correcting themselves. I haven't heard anybody, and it's not like I work for the UFC. I don't cover
Right.
MMA, but I watch a lot of it. And nobody has changed their assessment of you. Not that you have a bad assessment. I mean, you're a legend of the fight games, no question about it.
Yeah,
But-
but MMA media hates me. It's fine. No, not a single person has called me or anything like that. They've all just doubled down and said that I'm making excuses or lying or blowing things out of proportion or not giving credit where it's due or, no.
Are those not the tactics? It all comes to ruining the reputation of somebody that calls out the Rogan sphere. And she just said it. Is the evidence not in the room? Is it not stacking up? Have you not had enough? Right? When are people going to learn that Joe is a master manipulator? He is a corporate boy that played the game and played all of his fans. Now let's keep going.
I have not. I'll be waiting for that call forever.
Are you waiting for it though, or do you get it, and do you get where they're coming from and why?
I'm not waiting for it, and I get that they're a bunch of assholes. That's what I get. I get fuck you.
They're coming from and why?
Let's see that again.
I'm not waiting for it.
Say it
and
again, girl.
I get that they're a bunch of assholes.
Oh,
That's what I get.
say it again, girl.
But at least I would rather not have those fake friendships in my life. I would rather that those
fake.
people expose themselves, and I don't leave myself open to them. I would rather cleanse myself of all those fake superficial relationships than have them still around.
Colonoscopy.
Well, maybe it's because I know a little bit what it's like to be dragged.
Whoa.
When you don't think it's fair. But I'll tell you, when I heard your explanation, not only did it make sense because I've done so much reporting on head injuries, but I was embarrassed that I had it wrong. And then it set like this cascade effect. Not only did I have to get you on the podcast, and I was like, oh man, she's going to be like, who, what, why, but I really wanted to talk to you because,
Man, isn't that crazy? Old Chris back at it. Here is the point, guys. Even Ronda is calling out Rogan. She's no longer afraid. He left her in the dirt. He left her in the dirt. Left her behind. Like that book series in the 90s that got all the Christians wildly thinking about the rapture. Left behind. Wasn't there a song? You've been left behind. And, even the thing that was stuck out to me, besides Ronda calling Rogan fake and an asshole, which, bravo, that needed to be said. The thing that really gets to me is that even she said, when forced with the wrong that they have done, the Rogan sphere goes out and just starts slander, insults. Let's ruin the reputation. We've heard this over and over and over again, and it has to be more truth than fiction, right? It has to at this point. And we are also right about Rogan. Congratulations, guys. If it was the good old days, we'd have a little thing. And each time we were right, we'd check something off and get it signed. I would sign it for you guys. And then when all the boxes were filled up, we'd go to Pizza Hut and get us a little personal pan pizza. Wouldn't that be great, guys? Now, the one thing these guys forgot to do was actually promote Ronda Rousey's graphic novel. And I'm a big fan of comics and graphic novels. I've had comics since I was a kid. There's a stack right there behind me. And, I don't know what this will be like. But hell yeah. If there's more comics in the world, there will be less problems unless you get into the comic book scene. And boy, there is some fucking drama there too. So let's check it out for a couple minutes and see what she has to say.
My name is Ronda Rousey. Nobody asked me to, but I wrote a graphic novel.
That was incredible.
The shortest way to describe expecting the unexpected is two rival assassins end up unexpectedly pregnant and discover that giving life is harder than taking it. It's like Knocked Up meets John Wick, and also a romantic comedy. Mom, the main character, who's got more guns in her fake belly than Desperado's suitcase, has a great humor about everything, and she's being an assassin every day trying to live out her favorite movie scenes. Then comes the day that she meets Hoppa, who gets every single movie reference that she's putting out there. Unfortunately, that's the man that she's sent to kill.
It is a blood-soaked action adventure, and it's a love story.
I wrote this
Tension.
while I was trying to get pregnant. There are very few stories out there that examine the journey that a woman goes through from when she finds out she's pregnant to when she decides whether or not she thinks she can be a mom. It's very much me and my husband in there, which is why our likenesses are being drawn into the book itself. And in trying to write a role for myself that no one else could play better than me, I unexpectedly wrote something that no one could have written other than me.
There you go. That is a synopsis of her graphic novel. And if you could like it, if you'd like to read it, go ahead and pre-order on Amazon. Expecting the unexpected. Well, today, folks, just great revelations in building our case and our historical reality TV Rogan Sphere database with more evidence that proves Rogan isn't who he says he is. He's a phony, and he's a man that will use you, toss you aside just because it benefits him and he no longer needs you. Let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know what you think about Joe being the man we thought he was. Now, if you're still here, the week is winding down. It's about to be the weekend, and life is probably still stressful and doesn't make sense. But sometimes in life, music is the cure. And before the weekend begins, I want to take a little moment to chill out, forget about it all, and just enjoy a little tune. So sit back, relax, light it up, or have a little drinky link, if that's what you like to do, and enjoy this little break right here. Folks, I hope you enjoy your weekend, and if you like that song, it is Montel Fish. You make me feel loved. You guys have a good time. Life is short. It's stressful as fuck. Smoke as much weed as you can in between. Peace.
Know you like to bang, yo. Don't stay.